This is amazing weather. It's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. It's sunny, blue skies. This was kind of a last minute shift in weather. We all thought that snowboarding season was gone. It would not be back for the longest time. We'd have to wait for the next year, but turns out it's happening now. And this is the last day of the season. San Bruno, which is the mountain I'm going to. San Bruno is not the most respected mountain out there. It's not the best one for snowboarding, but you know, it's what it is. I'm not complaining. It's a gorgeous day. It's 30 minutes away, so again, I'm not complaining about that. Everyone's kind of excited about the weather. Again, this is the last day of the season. San Bruno is hosting today, the last day, and they couldn't have wrapped up you know, the season with a better weather. I'm going to meet a few friends up at the slopes, so yeah, it's gonna be a fun day.
There are a million songs, a million songs, a million songs that say I love you, but you know I don't believe them, because they always missing you. And I just wanna give you something that belongs to you. But you can hide inside a pocket, you can always take around with you. And I got a sad song for every moment that I missed you, and I got a good one for every hour I'm with you. Oh, give me some sweet strings for every moment that I dance with you.
Beautiful, gorgeous day. Let me show you the mountain. I think I'll use these today actually. They are under gloves actually, so when it's too cold I might use these, but not today. And in fact, this is for night. This is night lenses, so I'm gonna actually switch this up and I'm gonna use my day ones. So these are kind of mirrory, reflective. It's pretty good. Boots I've got here, and then I'll just put the ones I'm wearing back in. Yeah, it seems to be in order. My gloves. Gonna close this up. Zip it up. And we're ready. There you go. Mountain right in. Gorgeous day. So the nicest thing just happened. I was in the line, so usually I have the season pass at San Bruno or any other mountain, Bromont, Bromont, or etc. But this time I didn't, because I spent quite a lot of time outside of Canada. So I didn't have a season pass, and this gentleman approaches me and say, "Hi, are you going to buy the ticket?" And I say, "Yeah, the ticket for the day." And he said, "Well, my ticket has the right to welcome a friend and to give a pass to a friend. So, you know, I'm happy to transfer it to you." So anyway, he gave me basically the ticket for free just the kindest random, kindest thing that you can get, I guess, in Canada. Is very, very friendly. So thank you, stranger.
And then a million times I told you that you were grace into my life, and I was born again the day that I met you. But words are not enough, so let me treat you with a small song. You can sing it in a shower, or you can whistle while you're driving in your car. And I got a sad song for every moment that I missed you, and I got a good one for every hour I'm with you. Give me some sweet dreams for every moment that I dance with you. A thousand horns play for the joy of kissing you. Oh, I got a sad.
It's Friday evening, not a particularly sunny one. It's a bleak one, quite gloomy out there. So not particularly excited to go outside, but I'm heading out to an event for entrepreneurs, a networking event here in Montreal at a neighborhood called Verdun. Verdun. I don't know how you pronounce that in English, actually. Anyway, it's going to be an interesting event. I'm hoping to meet interesting entrepreneurs and people that are building things, in the city. One thing about these events, though, is that a lot of the times, you actually meet people that are trying to be entrepreneurs rather than, kind of already entrepreneurs, which is perfectly fine. And to be honest, that's what you should be doing. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you should absolutely attend events like this and be around entrepreneurs and try to sort of absorb as much experience as you can. So nothing wrong with that, absolutely not. But if you are an entrepreneur, or if you work directly with entrepreneurs, which is my case, and then sometimes you do wish that you could exchange ideas and exchange experiences with someone that is already doing what you're doing, that has some level of experience at least. So I think the conversation becomes, it's just better. A lot of these events that I attend, a lot of the time actually, I end up talking to people that are kind of trying to learn, and so they are asking questions. Because of my background, they kind of try to understand, like, oh, what would you do? Is this a good market? How did you do it? What was your experience like? So, which is fine. I honestly love kind of sharing my experience when I can, if it's of any use, and that's why I do it on YouTube as well. Sometimes I post about entrepreneurship stuff, and it's very nice to share your experience and kind of help if you can, because every case is a different case. It's very hard to kind of just say, hey, do this and it will work out. Most of the time you have to understand better their product and what they're doing and the things that they've tried, the things that they're thinking about. Anyway, if you are an entrepreneur or if you work directly with entrepreneurs, you might want to meet people that are already building things and already at the stage there that you are. So a lot of these events, the quality of the event sometimes gets impacted by that, if that makes sense. And again, I absolutely think everyone that wants to be an entrepreneur should attend events like this. I think it's 100% what you should be doing. But anyway, yeah, sometimes you have groups that meet separately. I think back in my, when I was running my companies, we actually had groups, and we split up groups. So we kind of hosted an event once, and it was great. And we had 100 people, 200 people. It was a lot of people, and then. But because of that experience of having a lot of beginners, a lot of people that are trying to learn how to become entrepreneurs, the conversation gets sort of watered down, if you will, for some people. So we decided to split the groups in different categories, and it doesn't mean that you cannot have those kind of everyone together in the same room. It should be like that sometimes, absolutely, so the beginners can kind of understand and learn from the more advanced people, and people that are already building something, people that have already built something, sold their companies, and so on. However, sometimes it's a good idea to sort of split and have so what we did is we split the groups and kind of okay, this is a group for beginners, people that are kind of trying to start a startup or something like that. Then you had another group for people that were already building something, and then you had another group mostly for people for entrepreneurs that were past a certain stage, past a certain, in our case, it was beyond a certain amount that you had raised. So if you had raised beyond a certain amount, then you would be sort of part of that group. And the group still exists. We have that on WhatsApp. So it's very interesting to kind of, and we keep talking and exchanging ideas and all that. So it's great. So anyway, long story short, hopefully I'm going to be able to meet some cool entrepreneurs, cool ideas being built, and kind of exchange ideas, exchange scenarios, exchange experiences, and learn from one another, hopefully. So that's going to be today. So as you can see, I've attended the event, and I'm not sure you can see in the video actually, but it was so crowded. The space was so small that everyone was kind of, crowded, and it was so loud as well. It was in a bar, so there's, you kind of need to understand the context here. It was at a bar, so obviously you have it wasn't just the people attending the event at the bar. It was basically their clients as well, the bar's clients. So understandably they had some music going on, to kind of ambient music. However, we were in kind of a sort of a second floor kind of mezzanine thing, and it was very, very loud, to the point where I lost my voice. I met a bunch of people that were actually losing their voices as well. So it wasn't really pleasant. It wasn't pleasant at all, to be honest. It was hard to talk. It was hard to communicate. And I mean, again, the purpose of the event was to talk and to exchange ideas, and I guess basically network. So not the best format, I would say. I have to say though that the guy that organized the event might not have been expecting so many people. I think we were a good 30 people there, which doesn't sound like a lot, but the space was so small that it was actually a lot. So anyway, the event was not as good as I anticipated, not as good as I hoped. Again, we found I thought a lot of people were not entrepreneurs, and again, I have no problem with that. It's just that I sort of wish there were more entrepreneurs that I could interact with there. But I met lovely people kind of trying to understand how to start a business, how to create a startup, or how to just how to start a business, I guess, and which is fine, all right. But again, going back to how events can have a better quality sometimes if you can if you can actually meet entrepreneurs, and if that's the purpose you're attending the event, is to meet other entrepreneurs, then and you're already an entrepreneur, or you're in the ecosystem somehow working with companies in the ecosystem, then having more entrepreneurs at the event wouldn't hurt. However, after some reflection, I am going to be hosting my own event. And the reason why I'm doing this is not because I feel that there is a lack of events in Montreal. That is not the point at all. Especially during summer, there are way more events than you could find in during winter. However, what I do feel that is missing is an event that is more focused on real, really gathering entrepreneurs, people that are in the ecosystem. It might not be just founders. It could be people that are actually operating in that ecosystem, maybe helping companies like I do. Even if they're helping clients, it still obviously counts. If their clients are founders and entrepreneurs and startups and scale-ups and so on. So the reason why I'm creating this event is because I think there's that missing, and there's also a component where I wish we could just have more of a startup founders vibe to an event, and where you can actually maybe pitch your product. I think that will be interesting. Just make sure that we know, okay, who is here? What is your idea? What are you doing here? What are you looking for here? And I feel that that's always missing. Every event that I attend, you go there and you kind of don't know who's there, and you have to go from person to person, kind of trying to figure out who they are, what they're interested in, and what they're trying to achieve. And I feel that if you have some sort of elevator pitch, something like that, they could just hey, you have 30 seconds here to explain your business, or 1 minute, whatever the time. I feel that could add some more old school kind of component to a startup event, founders event. So I'm hoping to do something like that. I'm already doing things to make it happen. Obviously, we all have 24 hours. That is a key component here. I don't want to, just got to make sure that I don't drop the ball with my clients. I have 20 clients that I have to work with, and so catering for them, making sure that they grow the way they need to grow is super important. I can't let them down. Time management is key here. But I'm going to be trying to maximize the time that I have available to sort of launch this event and then invite people in the community and the ecosystem. So if you're in Montreal, I'm not going to talk too much. I'm not going to give a lot of details for now about the event. It is going to be in a month or something like that away. So again, I'm not going to mention the name of any of that because I want it to be a little bit more exclusive, really to founders in the ecosystem that are here in Montreal or close to Montreal. That's fine too. So if you're in the ecosystem, you're a founder, you're here, then reach out, send me a DM or something. We'll chat. And right now, I'm actually going to head out to downtown. I have a meeting with someone that I really want to support the event. I think this person is a business owner and they can really help with putting the event together. I think it would be a great support. And then I'm also going to meet Abra, which is the founder of Popesa. Popesa is an Italian restaurant in Montreal, and I'm going to talk a little bit about them later on. But anyway, he's a business owner, the guy Abra. And we're gonna chat today a little bit about how they can support the event as well, and how we can sort of collaborate. So for the next few weeks, I'm gonna be meeting a few people that can help the event, support the event in different capabilities, and we'll see how that goes. But I'm excited. I'm excited about putting this event together. I think it's gonna be something new, something that the community is lacking, as far as I can see. So I'll keep you posted. So everyone gives me a hard time for not using the metro, not taking the metro as much as I should, and using my car all the time, which is true, I'm not denying it. But today, because I'm going to downtown, I decided, you know what, I'm going to take the metro. Downtown is hard to park, so to avoid the hassle, I'm just going to take the metro and be there real quick. And the metro station was closed. There's something happened. They're going to resume operations in 2 hours, something like that. So yeah, I can't take the metro. And I kid you not, this is the 3rd time it happened in the past month, just in the past month, which is insane. And so this is a direct message to STM. What is your beef with me? STM is the administrator, operator of the metro stations in Montreal. What did I do wrong? What is it with me that every single time that I want to take the metro, you're like, no can do? So luckily I was a bit early for the meeting, so maybe I can make it on time. We'll see. But it's actually very hot outside, so I changed, which is, you know, not all lost when it comes to time management. But yeah, STM, please tell me what's wrong. What did I do wrong? The meetings went super well. Both guys are pretty excited about the event and about gathering entrepreneurs and founders in Montreal, so that's cool, that's good. I had a taste of the Papessa restaurant, and it's really good. I had the bolognese sauce, which is the classic Italian and the house classic apparently, and they have some very interesting, the founder Abra, or the owner, has some very interesting ideas on how to expand and how to enhance the quality and just change the vision of things, change the course of things for the restaurant. He bought it recently. I shouldn't actually have him on the channel at some point. Anyway, the meetings were great, and I'm super pumped about this event and about getting together with other entrepreneurs. That's terrible. Jesus. Yeah, I can see you judging from here. Honestly, though, I do make a good cappuccino. It's just because I was recording. I don't know what happened. It was terrible, I admit, but it's usually an actual good cappuccino. I do it every single day. I normally actually have cappuccino in the morning and then espresso in the afternoon to sort of kick back in the energy to do the work and be productive. Anyway, as you've seen, I've upgraded my coffee machine. This one is way better than the one I had previously. The one that I had previously was actually it was actually good. I can say that it made a good espresso. However, it wasn't really professional grade espresso, and I really like espresso. I like coffee a lot, especially espresso, and in the morning cappuccino. Now, cappuccino as well. The previous machine didn't make as a good cappuccino as this one. I think this one has that kind of, when you go to a coffee shop and they have this really nice cappuccino with a silky foam that you can taste when you have the coffee, the cappuccino. So that's what I was looking for. I think it's because I drink it every day, it's worth the investment. This machine isn't cheap, but it does make a high quality espresso. And for those of you watching this, there's surely someone watching this saying, "Well, no, my $20,000 machine make a better cappuccino, a better espresso." Sure, but this one actually makes professional grade kind of espresso, or as close as you can, usually with a still sort of portable machine. There are surely better ones out there, but for the price, I think the quality of this one is really, really good. And it comes with a burr grinder, which for me was important because then I can have sort of two things in one, and I don't have to have a separate grinder just for the coffee machine. I did have a burr grinder before this. It was a good burr grinder, but this one is actually better, the one that comes with the machine. So anyway, it makes a lovely espresso. I love cappuccino, and I couldn't be happier with the purchase. All right, let's talk about reading. For those of you who don't know this, I have a bachelor's degree in literature, which basically means that I studied a lot, grammar, literature, and all of these things. And my real introduction to reading, so I've always kind of liked reading, but my real introduction to reading was in France. I went to high school in France, and I got introduced to this huge and fantastic, amazing universe of literature. So from an early age, I started reading quite a lot, but a lot of that was fiction. It was philosophy. It was art. It was I can mention a few writers, if you will. Hemingway, on the English side of things and American side of things. Hemingway, Fitzgerald, all the classics. On the French side, Paul Verlaine, Molière, Voltaire, which was a huge thing for me to read Voltaire at the time. Anyway, all the classic French and a lot more. I expended quite a lot when in high school. It was basically a lot of what I had to do throughout my day. It was reading and deciphering those novels and those books and trying to figure out what they meant, and studying history as well and philosophy to try and gauge how the universe works and how the things about the human nature, which turned out to be quite valuable for me later on. But then I reached a phase in my life where thought I felt like I was spending too much time reading and not enough time doing. So that phase of me trying to build stuff and do stuff kicked in, and I sort of neglected reading, and I was like, I'm not going to read anything. So I pretty much stopped reading altogether. And then quickly after that, I started reading quite a lot, but about business. So this was the time where I was actually getting interested in business, in building my own business. And so I started reading lots of business books about strategy, books about management, books about marketing, all of these things that people that are interested in business start reading. And I've read many good ones, and I can tell you a few that I've read. In fact, I have one right here that I can show you. Let me just grab it. Principles by Ray Dalio. This is most probably the best book that I've read when it comes to sort of business, not just business, honestly, but like life in a way. It is really insightful, and I feel Ray Dalio is one of the people that I admire the most, I think, in the world. The book's kind of not in perfect condition now, but I've read it so many times. Like not the entire book so many times, but excerpts of the book many times. It is a fantastic book if you want to read something that will help you draw some guidelines and will help you structure your life in a way, but also your business and the things that you kind of need to monitor to, I guess, to build a successful business, to build something that you're proud of. I think Principles from Ray Dalio is a mighty book, and definitely recommend reading it. But a few years ago, I started sort of gravitating a little bit more towards. I stopped reading as much. I would read a lot of these sort of business strategy marketing books, and I started reading. Gravitating back towards things that were not business oriented, if that makes sense. And this was interesting. Even for me to kind of see that happening was interesting. I felt like I read so much about business strategy and marketing that, at one point you no longer need to consume that as much. I feel like if you're in your journey to building a company, or if you're currently building a company and it's your first company, definitely read a lot. Definitely read a lot about business marketing and so on, strategy, all of that. I think it's essential if you're building a company or wanting to build a company. But I've built 2 companies, and like I advise business on different topics related to growth and marketing and all of that. So I feel like I kind of reduced dramatically the amount of reading that I was doing in those categories, and came back to, not, I wouldn't say necessarily philosophy, but came back to reading these types of books. And this one I actually got at at a bookstore in Montreal. I can't remember exactly where it was, but it's an old book. It's a secondhand book. It's a used book, but for some reason the cover and what it said, like this, the title here is Une Américaine en Provence, and for some reason, and this was recently, and I really gravitated towards this one, and I bought it. And honestly, it's been a very pleasant surprise. I've never heard of this person. Her name is Mary Lou Longworth, and I don't know. I've never heard of her. I don't think she's a famous writer or anything like that. I haven't really researched her story, but it goes to show there are so many hidden gems out there. So this is the story of this American woman, as you can guess, and she, because I think because of her husband's work, she moves to France, to the countryside in France, and they rent a house, and it's like this sort of country house sort of vibe, very old house. There is a picture at some point, but made out of stone. And anyway, beautiful, with a beautiful garden. They harvest olives. Yeah, I think this is the picture of her garden. Anyway, it's a very interesting book. And it's been fascinating to me to, first of all, this was quite a while ago. It was in the 90s, early 2000s, or end of 90s. And, obviously things changed. This was 25 years ago. It's not a lot of time, which makes it ever so interesting to understand the nuances of the change that happened during that time, from that time to now. And it's been refreshing to read it because it's unpretentious. It's she's telling her life, and through her lenses, she's very artistic, which obviously helps. She has those kind of insights that you get when you're visiting a place and you see something that is exquisite. It's unique to that place, and so she brings that to the surface with the book, which is quite interesting. Also, I've never been to the countryside of France. It's interesting because I've lived in France for, well, for 3.5 years, or 3 years, or 3.5 years, something like that. I traveled a bit, I would say, in France, and I passed by the countryside. It was like, I think from Clermont-Ferrand to Paris. Um, I sort of did a road trip there, drove from Clermont-Ferrand to Paris, but that was pretty much it. I haven't really been to the countryside of France, but I have been to the countryside of Italy. I recently traveled to Italy, to Tuscany, and it was amazing. In fact, I stayed at a countryside house, at this country house in the middle of a kind of a farm, really. And you had these two owners, and a couple basically in their 70s probably, and very, very welcoming. He would share his wine with me, and it was a very interesting, amazing travel, amazing trip. So I've been to the countryside in Italy, and I haven't been to the countryside in France. I would imagine there are, of course, some similarities. I know the two countries, especially France, I know relatively well. So of course there are some similarities between the two, but I would love to go to the countryside in France and spend some time, maybe 20 days, 30 days, just driving, stopping little towns, medieval towns. Maybe I know a few ones in France, and they are all, the ones that I visited are all lovely, really, really amazing places. And it makes me think as well of like, would I live in the countryside? If it's in Europe, I don't think I would live in the countryside in Canada for some reason. I just don't think Europe is such a mature country. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's been there for so long that the countryside is kind of already developed. Little cities, little towns, they already have the infrastructure, they already have, and also the architecture is absolutely amazing. So I would not live in the countryside here in Canada. Would I live in the countryside in Europe? Maybe one day. Not now. I don't think now, but maybe one day. Who knows? It could be interesting. Reading the book, you kind of get a sense of like what it is to live in the countryside, and sort of this very old house. I think it could be interesting, and when I'm older, maybe, who knows. Anyway, it's an interesting, very interesting read, and I recommend, if you are looking for something new to read, why not try this one? I don't even know if they're selling this still, but here it is. This is the name, Une Américaine en Provence. And also, tell me, would you live in the countryside, either in your country or in America, in Canada, or in Europe? Would you? Share in the comments.
It is time, it's the perfect summer night. Those three words are spelled out in your eyes.